Hey there, it's Diane Forster. Welcome to I Have Today, where we talk about the art of intentional living. And the show is all about inspiring, empowering, and educating you through life's transitions. I've got a very special guest coming on today. We're going to be talking about healthy communication. All right, in just a few minutes, Dr. Heather Browne will be in the studio with me. But before we get to her and where I share all the goodies about her, I wanted to just take a moment to say to you that we are live every Monday at 11 a.m. We are streaming everywhere, basically everywhere. Our home studio is E360 TV, but we're on Apple, Roku, Amazon, YouTube, Hulu, and all the social media platforms. We also are streaming this as a podcast, and it's available on all the podcast platforms. How you can find us is I Have Today with Diane Forster, or on social media, Diane Forster Official. So thank you so much. If you are here for the first time, thank you so much. It means the world to us. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Nice to see you again. So I wanted to talk about the topic of communication because it is certainly shown up in my life in many instances in a variety of different relationships that was really toxic. And we had the tendency to want to be right and want to protect ourselves and want to defend ourselves. So what we're going to learn today are some smart strategies for effective communication, better communication in all the relationships of our lives. So you're going to want to stay till the very end, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview Dr. Heather Browne, and then we're going to get into our interview. She's going to share some amazing strategies today, but I'm going to end this episode with a powerful mantra meditation like I do every episode, where we're really going to tie that in. And through doing this meditation together, you'll leave the show feeling better at the end than you did at the beginning, because we'll be anchoring this in. It will become a part of our soul. It will get into our mind through the reticular activating system, sink into that subconscious, and you will have reminders on how to be a better communication in all the relationships in your life. And one of the things that we do every week is we create a weekly intention statement. So our intention statement this week is, I have today to be aware of my communication. I have today to be aware of my communication. And where you can find this intention statement is my amazing team produces the most beautiful graphics. And there it is right there on the screen. This is already living on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. If you go to my profile, there's a little button called intention statements. And what I want you to do with this is I want you to take a screenshot of it and use it as your phone's screensaver for the entire week, so that every time you look at your phone, you see it. See, I have one there. I got to swap out that one. This one's from last week. Anyway, every time you look at your phone, which is on average 150 times a day, if you can believe that, but it starts to become a part of you. So make sure when you're over there on Instagram, you're giving me a follow and like if you feel called to do that. So we want to be living intentionally. And so today's topic is about that and about communication. And we want to live and create more peace and harmony in our lives, have more harmonious relationships. And so this is something like pretty much everything we do here on I Have Today is about something you can do right here, right now, no excuses. You can just do it. You can do it. You can do it right here. You can do it right now. Start to create the awareness. You don't have to spend any money to do this. Nothing else in your life has to change. Just create the awareness and learn these strategies so that you can start implementing in your life. And then you can go, oh, wait a minute, that stuff really, really works. Now that I'm aware, then I can make the changes. ABCs. Awareness begets change. So we're going to bring Dr. Heather Browne up here in just a moment, but we're going to listen to a message from our sponsor, the Spifter. Let's hear it. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. All right, we are back. Sorry, I'm flubba-dubbing over my words a little bit today. I hosted a training this morning that was 4 hours, but I'm fired up and I'm ready. Hello, Dr. Heather Browne. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so grateful to have you here. All right, well, let me share with the audience a little bit about you. Dr. Heather Browne helps people recognize the power of communication. It is one of our most important skills that we have, and yet we don't consider our understanding, approach, belief, and therefore miss our possibilities. Living with a paranoid schizophrenic mother gave Dr. Heather a unique and powerful awareness that no one has the same reality, though we believe we do. This is so good. Oh, we are going to touch on this. Utilizing this revolutionary awareness has allowed her to transform communication within self and within all other types of relationships. This is the hidden key to acceptance, and this is her mission to share. Bravo. Well done. Great to have you here. So, Dr. Heather, how did you get into this? I mean, obviously, talk a little bit about the story, living with your mom, who was paranoid schizophrenic. Where did you pick up that this was going to be the direction of your expertise?
There was a very powerful moment when I was 12, and she thought that the helicopters flying over the house were coming to get her. And my father, naysayed, "Ginny, you're crazy. They're not coming to get you." But his words weren't comforting her and they weren't helping her. And she was petrified. And I remember thinking, this isn't working. What does she need? And she needed to feel safe. So I grabbed my blanket, I threw it over her head, and I held her and I said, "They're not going to get you, Mommy. They're not going to get you." And when she came out, she looked up at me and her eyes said, "You believe me," which I didn't, but
Right.
I didn't tell her that. And I realized in that moment, compassion is the key.
Right.
Compassion is the key to any relationship. So if you start a conversation with compassion, with connection, before you bring in words, you start in a very different place. And so that was what I learned from my mom. And I just kept seeing how I was doing that throughout life in more and more places. And I wasn't having the arguments that others were having. And I wasn't having the hurt feelings that others were having because I didn't believe somebody else's thought process was mine. You said something in the beginning, which I want to validate so much, which is, we want to be right. And it's really important to recognize we are. I am 100% right all the time in my feeling and thought for me, and completely not for you. And when
Right.
you know that, it frees you up.
Oh my gosh, there's so many places I could go right now. This is such an important topic because let's just talk about it. We'll get into parenting because I really want to go there. I think that's important. But let's go to romantic, intimate relationships first, because I think there are a lot of people out there, women and men alike, who are running from one relationship into another, thinking that it was that person, doesn't get me, doesn't understand me, or we're too different. I'm speaking Greek and he's speaking Chinese, or whatever the reasons are. We know when relationships break down, the first thing that breaks down is the communication. It's not the intimacy, it's the communication, which creates that connection. And then what happens is these people, men and women, get into new relationships and find themselves in the same scenario where they're getting divorced multiple times and breaking up multiple times, right? So let's talk about some strategies in the romantic relationship genre, that field, that area, that could help people create that awareness that it's probably them, the way they're communicating, and what could they do to see it and then do something different, make a different decision.
It's a great question. And if you take it back even before the communication piece, there's another part that's really important, which is it all comes down to whether you accept the other person.
Yes.
Do I accept you? Because if I do, then however you are is you, and I have to deal with it. We tend to want to change the other person to make them easier for us to get along with so that we don't have to do any work. And when we realize we are the person that's the challenge because I don't approve of you being as you are, that changes things a lot. When we take ownership of, I am choosing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
And then with that, then you can step into a conversation very differently.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up a friend of mine. I've had him on my show multiple times. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brian Ridgway, but he's running a program right now. And one of the things he talked about was romantic relationships and communication in it. And without giving anything personal away about him, and I know he wouldn't mind me speaking about this, but what he exhibited, he's in a relationship now, and it's soulmate divine. You can just tell, you can just feel the energy from them. He, he showed an example of how he wants to love her and how he wants to give her, and it was so beautiful. And it just, not that she needed discarding, but she was so like she was just so open to want to give it in return. And what the words he were using were really, really vulnerable words that I could see people having trouble with. How do we get, and of course it opened her wide up, because he was just, I just want to bring you bliss and joy and fulfillment, and there is no attachment on my part, and I just want to learn more about you each and every day and grow from it, and whatever the experience is. Like, it was really, really a beautiful exchange. And I know personally, for me, I grew up in a household with a mom and a dad who loved each other, but were not in love with each other. And my father's upbringing, of his German English upbringing, they never said, I love you. In fact, he didn't say I love you to me till I was 24 years old. I almost fell on the floor when I heard the words, because I had no idea how much I missed that and needed that, And so I think a lot of people who have been, not nurtured like you nurtured your mom, in that moment, like putting the blanket over her and just saying it's okay, and you really being there, people they are reacting instead of responding, because they're like, no, 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 you're not getting near me, because I'm going to hurt you and protect myself before you get the chance to hurt me. Right? How do you feel about that?
I think it's absolutely accurate. And I think we forget, in a relationship, you started this relationship because you thought this person wanted to love you, and you thought that they could, and you thought that you could love them back. And we forget that very quickly. And if you remember that, okay, it's not feeling like it right now, but I know you truly want to love me. I don't think you really want to hurt me, or at least I hope you don't want to hurt me. What's going on? There could be a lot of other factors. You don't understand, you've forgotten, you're being a little bit selfish, I wasn't clear. There's a lot of reasons why you don't feel close or connected or possibly loved by the person that you're with.
Yeah.
But if you're still in the relationship, you both actually do want that. And so that goes into talking about your love languages and how do you receive and how do you give. And those are some very important conversations. Your friend is beautiful words, beautiful devotional words, and those speak to his wife's or his partner's soul.
Right.
Somebody else, it might be touch. And
Yes.
so speaking into how do you feel most loved in I'm a widow. And one thing that I did in my marriage and also with my children is every single day I would say, "How is it that I could love you a little better today?"
Mm.
They would say, "Oh, could I have a hug? Or could you sit with me for a couple of minutes? Or could you get me a glass of water?" And I
Yes.
said, "Sure." But
Yeah.
we don't think about, I have the opportunity to love you today. And
Right.
in what way would you most receive that? In what
Mm.
way can I show you and be with you in love? I
Yes.
had a couple one time, and he literally said to me, "I told her I loved her on the wedding day. That should be enough."
Mm.
I thought,
Wow.
"Oh, poor woman," because
Poor
it
woman.
wasn't for her. And so there was a important dialogue of, yeah, she knows it's the truth because you have spoken it. And
Right. Right.
yet, don't we at times want reassurance or to hear it again simply because it feels beautiful to have your daddy say, "Diane, I love you."
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he said it every day since, so I know he had it all
Good.
bottled and stored, right, and, yeah, it was, big opening and opportunity for him. So, okay, well, this is really good. So, what can a person do walking into a situation? We're still on romantic relationship, intimate partnerships. Then we're going to get to kids, parents, all that. What can a person do as soon as they're walking in, say they're out and they're coming home from work, it's been a long day, they have had a lot of things, maybe they've been in traffic, maybe the commute was hard, and they're connecting now for the first time. What is a good thing to do immediately as the first point of communication
So
to respect each other?
it might surprise you. It's before you open the door.
Mhm.
So what I would suggest is text your partner 15 minutes before you get home and say, "I'll be there in 15 minutes."
Ooh, that's good.
Give your partner the heads up, "I'm coming home. I'd like it to be lovely. And could you be available and free or take a pause on dinner," or whatever it might be. And then before you open that door, whatever it is that you need to clear your head from the drive, from work, remember you're walking into what can be, if you choose for it to be, the highlight of your day.
Yep.
So when I would walk into the door, I was no longer Heather the therapist. I was Heather the wife and mom. And I'd open the door and say, "I'm home, I'm home." And then
Mm.
we would celebrate and we would meet each other and hug and kiss and have some time together. If you think about, this is why we work so hard, is to have this time with our partner or with our family. So how you start that entrance is really important.
Yes.
And if you text everyone, they know to take a little pause on dinner, take a little pause on homework, you know, take the shower now so everyone's out and ready if you're so willing. And it can
Yeah.
be a beautiful moment to come together and say, "Ah, finally, we're all here together," and hug, kiss, and
Yeah.
then move into whatever conversation is best for all of you from there. Entrances and exits are greatly forgotten. COVID did a doozy on them because we
Yeah.
were just always home, always together. But
What a good
entrances
point.
are so important for celebration. It's good to miss the person you love.
Yes, it really is. That's such a good point. This is so good. All right. All right, Dr. Heather. All right. So let's move to let's move to, parent child, communication, because that ebbs and flows over time, right? Um, and I understand you do work with a lot of families, right? And you do work with a lot of youth. Am I correct here?
I've worked
Say,
with teens and above. I don't work with little children.
oh, that's what I meant. And not by youth. I meant to say teens. Yes. Okay. So tell me how to navigate those years, because I remember those years and they were tough. They were really tough.
I think they are for us all, and the biggest thing you'll hear from, and you probably said it yourself, "You don't understand me." That's
Mhm.
the thing you'll hear the most from teens, and it's true because as the adult, we come to them thinking, "I'm supposed to show you how to be, and I
Right.
give you all the information that you need to have so you'll do better in life." And that's a very important part of being a parent. But another part is helping your teenager become who it is that they are to be.
Yeah.
They're the best one to guide you on that. And
Yeah.
so having curiosity in why is this important to you? And why is this something that you're interested in? Or share with me why this means so much to you. We don't take the time to find out from our children and from our partners or from our bosses and our friends, why is this important to you? We'll hear it and we'll say, well, that's not important. And we'll dismiss it instead of finding out. And if you find out, though you might not agree that you think it's wise and important, there's still a reason that your teenager does.
Yes.
And that's vital for you to care about.
Mhm.
They are the
Yes.
best one to let you know how they feel and what they think. And as we all know, the teenagers are turbulent and hormonal and confusing, but it is for them as well. And so when you can be the more solid, a little bit more secure, hopefully a little bit more learned one, and hold space for them in some of the challenges that they're having, and I spoke a lot into my kids into like, "You're gonna figure this out. You're really smart, got a beautiful heart. It's confusing right now, I know, and let's take some time and walk through this together if you're willing."
Yeah.
Speak into your trust and your belief. Teens get pounded with, you know, "You're never gonna make it in the world, and when I was this way, I did this," and there's so much shame that's put upon
Yes.
teens instead of really helping them find their internal strength and guidance and build them up.
Yes. I agree. I can say as a parent, my twins are 26 years old. I don't know how old your children are, but they've been adults for many years, even though I just can't believe that they are their age already. And being, watching them from a distance, it doesn't matter how you grow up. We all experience forms of trauma, right? Whether it's, physical trauma or emotional trauma or neglect or overparenting or whatever it is, that really shapes them. And it's so interesting that what I'm getting right now is the younger they are, when they're in those imprint years and then those modeling years, they really, your mom and dad, if you're growing up in a household like that, whatever your scenario is, they're the world to you. They are your world. And then that switch happens, in the tween years where they start to develop, and then they realize they're just people and there's things about them that I don't like, which is sometimes obviously really hard to take. And so it's a dance that you have to learn what is safe for me to say. I know it's obviously loving, like you want to be loving and you want to be supporting, but you don't want to be too much. You want them to know that you're there, but not in a, overpowering way. Because I had two kids, same age, different sexes, but one was extremely boisterous and the other one didn't communicate at all, didn't express emotion at all. And so you've got to really understand the person. You're so right, Dr. Heather, as I'm speaking, like your words are coming to me. Yeah. That no two people are alike.
No, not at all. And to treat them as they are, you do a disservice to them. There's the place of help me understand as best as I can. And let them guide you in that. Or how is it that I can best support you? What is it that you're needing to hear from me? My kids are 23 and 26, and for years I would say, do I have permission to share something? My kids now will sometimes say, yeah, wish you wouldn't. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when they were younger, I would just say, like, I need to share something with you. But there still was the place of, are you willing to receive it?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it is just a lecture. And I didn't want to be that parent where my kids just turned their ears off and watched my mouth move.
Yes.
I don't see any benefit in that. So I would say, well, then let me know when you're not as angry or when you're not as flooded and you're able to talk. And they knew we were going to have that talk at some point, but I would
Yes.
wait until they were in a place where they're ready to receive. If you look, I think the best modeling of great communication comes from the Bible. It comes from Jesus. He knows who he is. He knocks on the door, knocks on the door. Are you going to open it? You don't. He doesn't scream, yell, shove it down, blame you. He walks away, comes back, knocks on the door. You open it. Hey, I'm Jesus. I'd like to come in. Can we sit down and can we talk? Nope. Okay, I'll come back another time. Eventually, you're welcomed. Now, the key to this is if I have an important conversation with you, if you come to me and say, hey, Heather, would you talk to me about the car that you want to talk about? You've already stepped over the threshold. You've joined me.
Mm-hmm.
That is so helpful because
Right.
now you want to hear what I have to say and you want to have this conversation. If we could remember that, we would start conversations so differently because I'm not
Yes.
having to pull you in, try to impress you, try to force you. You've said, okay, I'm ready. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Beautiful place of connecting. And
Yes.
I do that before any conversation that I have with someone who's important to me. I'll say to them, you are more important, and my relationship with you is more important than this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go through this as quickly or as slowly as we need because we're going to come out of this at the end with that being our truth. And then that helps you with your pacing throughout. And I'll stop. I'll say, ooh, it's starting to feel tense. Like something shifted. Help me understand what I can do to get back on the same page as you. Can you share with me what you're feeling? Yeah, I think you're discounting what I said. I
Yeah.
didn't realize I was doing that. Let me pull back. Would you say it again? I really do want to hear you. Yeah. And then they share. So communication's a dance.
It is a dance.
But it's important to remember that only one person can lead at a time.
Right.
The other person needs to follow. And there's a back and forth of that. It's like a breath. I offer to you and you receive. And then you share and I receive. It's important that we have that ebb and flow, be it a child, be it a 90-year-old grandmother. It's
Yes.
important that we have that.
Yeah. Yes. This is so fascinating. It's so good. You know, your children are in their 20s, mine are in their 20s, and I have a very large network of, people in my life, women, moms in my life who've got similar age children as we do. And one of the big things I'm noticing is the number of children who cut off all communication with their parents, shut them out of their lives. Like, and our generation, at least as far as I know, I didn't know anybody who did not talk to their father or did not talk to their mother, like deliberately, unless, if the dad disappeared or whatever. But there's this new, I don't know what it is. That's why I'm asking you. What is it about this generation that is choosing to cut out no communication? I spoke to a woman the other day. She said, yeah, she didn't hear from her daughter for a year.
I
My
think
kids,
I
yeah.
think it's the other way, and I think it'll help.
Oh,
If
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, I'm intrigued.
So, if I am not willing to listen and care about who you are and what you think and what you believe, if I reject it, won't tolerate it, refuse it, then I truly am the one rejecting you. And then if you say it, and our generation of our children will say, well, if I can't be me, then I'm not going to be around you. Or if I have to pretend to be somebody I'm not or lie, I'm not going to do it. So they are choosing to not stay and be the obedient little ones like you and I probably did.
Mhm.
I was molested, but I
Mm,
still had my father in my life. That is
yeah,
something a lot of people nowadays would never do, but
right.
I'm 60. That was something that was very different back then. Um,
Yes.
so it's really that they are responding to the fact that they are not feeling loved for who they are and how they are. No one is going to turn away from receiving love if you feel like you're being loved. But
Mhm.
our generation has made a lot of demands upon how their children are to be or what we approve of and what we don't approve of. And we've been very firm with that. And the younger generation, as we all see, is much more fluid, much more changing things up than we ever did.
Yes.
And we are not standing in a place of allowing that to be the truth. Now, I am not saying that as a parent, I must say any choice you make is right and whatever you want to do is fine. I'm going to have feelings about choices that my children make. But I
Yeah.
also need to realize my children also have feelings about the choice that I am making in my relationship with them because
Mhm.
of who they are.
Yes.
That's a conversation our generation didn't have. You just honored your parents. You just
Right.
did. And that's no longer our world. If you really would take the time to try and listen to their experience and listen to what it is that they are asking of you, you will understand them more. There
Mm,
still may be times where someone chooses to step out, drug addiction, physical abuse, stealing from you. There's a lot of reasons to not let yourself be taken advantage of. But
right.
the kids that step out largely step out because they don't feel heard, loved,
Yes.
respected.
Mm, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So powerful. So, Dr. Heather, what is um, two things that I have for you? One of them is we do a segment here called the intention statements. You heard it earlier. And I ask all my guests the question, how do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally in the present moment? What would you start that statement with? I have today too.
Sure. I have today to share my heart with you as openly and as freely as I'm willing to allow myself. When we give ourselves power to be who we are, then we can really move into a very different place in our communication, a very different place in our relationship. And it's a place of self honoring, which then um, supports somebody else in doing the same.
Mm, well said. Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I understand that you recently did a TEDx talk. Is that correct?
Good. I did it last Saturday with Mount Rubidoux. So we're waiting with fingers crossed and bated breath for when it pops up. We don't know. It depends upon
How,
Ted. But it was a dream to do it. and it was an incredible honor to do it.
Yes. That is
Yes.
so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And you have a book coming out. So tell us about your book. I know it's not out yet. It is coming out. What
It's in publication right now, so we're in the process. It comes from being a psychotherapist for 27 years and a couple specialist. So it's actually a book on conscious and compassionate couples communication. And I
um,
go through all the things I've shared and so many other beautiful, beautiful experiences I have had in my life, and then also with my clients, and all the exercises I've come up with in the 27 years of doing this to really help people take it from a therapist's viewpoint, a wife's viewpoint, but also a widow's viewpoint. And
yeah.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful with beautiful lessons and exercises. Different, I think, than other books out there because I walk you through the exercises and we explore them together and give you more places to have dialogue with your partner about what's going on and that experience for you.
What's your success rate? How many marriages have you saved or relationships have you saved with
Gosh, I don't even know. I would have to go back and count everyone. If you go to my Yelp page, you'll have a really good idea. Uh,
oh,
I have really beautiful reviews. If someone is willing to work with me, we will have success, but we might not have success if the marriage stays together.
right,
Sometimes people will choose for that, and the reality is it's really the couple's success rate, not mine.
right. Well,
They
that's
have
what I
they have
yeah.
to do the work. People I tell people, "You will know in the first session." And they do, because I work hard, I work deeply, and I do, I do I expect that back. So if I say, "This is important for you to do, will you do it?" Then if the person says, "No, I'm not willing," then we're not gonna work together
Right,
long. The place
right.
that's really hard is when there's been infidelity and you've really tried to get them through and one person just is not able to go there. Doesn't
Yes,
happen often, but it does happen, and there's a place to say, we really need to stop trying to do this because it's not getting better."
yeah.
And that's a very hard place to come, but it does happen every once in a while,
Of course.
sadly.
Of
Yeah.
course it does. Of course it does. Well, your work is really beautiful. Is there any final piece of advice or that you want to share with us?
Absolutely. I think we've forget the importance and the power that of this moment, and that today, if I want you to feel loved by me, that I have an opportunity to do so. If I want you to feel safer with me, I have an opportunity to do so. There is no future. There's only now.
Yep.
And when we really become aware of that, it takes away, I hope, a lot of our excuses to just really shift into what serves me better, what serves you better, what aligns better with a higher good, and how can we let ourselves really learn how to love ourself, our relationship, our communication so much better. When you ask those questions, the person you're speaking with is going to have answers for you, and that's gold. That's
Mm,
gold.
that is so good. So good. Wow. All right. So, how can people find out more about you? I think we have a link to your site. Is it Dr. Heather Brown with an E.com? Oh, there it is. Dr. Heather Brown with an E.com. So, if you're listening on the podcast, that's what it is. And then we will also have this in the show notes. Yes. Yes. Well, very, very exciting. So, all right, now I guess I do have one more final question because I forgot to ask this and I love this question so much. What do you wish more people knew?
That love is available to all of us
Mm,
all the time, and if we allow ourselves to focus on feeling it within ourselves and around us, there is no limit to it. And every situation and every person can benefit from more love.
yeah.
When we remember that, there's no scarcity because we create it. and we create it in any moment that we're willing to share it with somebody else. It is blessed, and I think it's the most amazing experience that we are given in this life, and to treasure it and cherish it and take really good care of it.
Yes, I love that so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming here to I Have Today. It's really been an honor and a privilege to spend this time with you and all your beautiful work. And I'm certain we'll be in touch. And I know we are. We follow each other. And continued success to you. Congratulations for the TED Talk and your upcoming book and the work that you're doing in the world. It's so needed. It's so needed.
It's an honor to be here. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. You be well. Take care. Happy today.
Blessings.
Bye. She's just lovely. Oh my God. I hope you all were listening or watching. You were taking notes, because I took a whole bunch of notes, and we are going to go through our mantra meditation in just a couple of minutes. So stick around, and we're going to tie all this together so that you can leave here really implementing what you learned today. Because I learned that the whole thought of the experience of, the kids shutting out parents, this generation, was actually the other way around. Oh, wow. That just blew my mind. I love it. I love being a student of life. I'm here. I create this platform for you, and I bring the most incredible guests for you so that you can learn, grow, and expand, live to your highest, greatest, fullest potential. But selfishly, I do it for me too, because I learn and grow and expand every day too, just as much the student as I am the host. So, all right. So what I want to share with you right now is an opportunity. If you are interested in hosting your own TV show, my coaching practice has taken a big turn in this direction. I've been helping many, many, many people launch shows just like this, their own version of a TV show, because it's been so instrumental in the growth of my business, and it's really been a game changer for me. And so now I'm helping others do it, because they have big visions and missions. They want to get their work out into the world in a really bigger way, and they just need the strategy and structure on how to do that. So what I'm going to offer you right now is the opportunity to attend my free masterclass, which is the 5 shifts to become a TV host and earn 5, 6, even 7 figures in your business, even if you have no experience. So you want to go to, I think this is the right link, team. Give me the right link. I have on here tvstarhost.com, tvstarhost.com. That is the link to get the free masterclass. So just go there right now and watch it and see, listen to all the takeaways I have about the power of TV, where TV is going, because people think TV is dead. Trust me, it is not dead. There's a lot of tremendous opportunity in the world by becoming a TV show host. It's a valuable asset. It really increases your credibility and authority, and you get to really build a relationship with your guests and with your audience. So that's at tvstarhost.com. So check it out there. All right, we're getting ready to get into our mantra meditation. So if you are driving, please keep your eyes on the road and keep them open for everybody else. I want you to stop what you're doing. Don't multitask. Just give me 3 minutes of your time so we can do this together and heal some stuff in us and release some stuff, and pay attention to the power of what good communication can mean in your life, because it really can change everything. If you're in relationships where you're struggling with communication, you're struggling with trying to feel seen and heard, and struggling with issues around there, this was the episode to watch. And now this mantra meditation will be the one to listen to. So I'm going to do this in a couple different steps. So we're going to do our breathing, our rainbow breath meditation, which is we're going to breathe in for the count of 4, pull that air all the way down to your root chakra, which is kind of like your tailbone area. And then we're going to hold it for the count of 8. As you're counting to 8 in your mind, I want you to send energy to all your chakras. So your root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and soul star, which is above your head about a foot or so. Very important one. And the colors all match the colors of the rainbow. And the top one, the soul star, is white. And so what you're doing when you're sending that energy and lighting up the chakras is you're sending that healing energy to everything in your body, this body, astral bodies too. And then I want you to blow it out like you're blowing out birthday candles for the count of 8, really hard, like, so your stomach feels like a deflated balloon. I want you to get anything negative, toxic that you're holding on to, memories, trauma, events, experiences that happened in your life that you might be holding on to in your physical body. I want you to release it. We're going to do that 2 times and then just listen to my words. So here we go. Feet flat on the floor. Put your hands on your lap. Keep them facing down if you feel grounded, or turn them up if you feel like you need some energy. Close your eyes and let's breathe in for 4 through the nose. Hold it for the count of 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. Should feel really good. I'm pointing to the chakras when I count. Your eyes are closed, so you can't see that. Here we go. Breathe in for the count of 4 through your nose. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small, I notice them all. Yes, 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 thank you. I have today to be aware of my communication. There's so many lessons that I learned from this episode of I Have today, because I'm beginning to understand the power of understanding that no 2 people think alike. We just don't. We don't have the same approach or understanding or belief. So how could we possibly assume to understand what's going on with somebody else? I'm going to start implementing the texting 15 minutes before I get home practice in my life to whomever's there waiting for me. And then I'm going to walk in the door excited, saying, "Hi, I'm home," and celebrate life with hugs and kisses, talk about the highlights of the day, and walk in with that intention and attitude, because I can do that. I understand the power of entrances and exits. I'm going to utilize the skills I learned today so that my communication is open. I'm going to ask questions. Is this a good time to talk? May I have permission to say something and really respect the other person? I'm going to own my feelings as well and communicate from that place and realize it doesn't have to be a difficult thing. I understand it's a dance and only one person can lead. I'm going to utilize the statement, "You are more important to me than this conversation." So if the other person is not in a space of speaking at that time, I'm going to respect and honor that. And what a beautiful way to say that. I'm going to hold space for when I hear you don't understand. I am absolutely going to hold space. I'm going to understand that I don't have to treat them as they are in that moment. That's just how they are in that moment. And that doesn't support them. It doesn't matter who it is. And just by hearing these words and saying these words in this moment, I can be more present and compassionate with the relationships in my life, because compassion is the key. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank my guest, Dr. Heather Browne, for being here today. It was truly a privilege and an honor to have you on the show. Thank you for talking about the really important topic of communication. All right, this is Diane Forster. Thank you all for being here. If you like this, please give us a review, rate, star, subscribe, follow. It would mean the world to me. You can find out more about me and what I do at dianeforster.com. And I will see you next time on I Have Today. Sending you so much love. Take care. Bye-bye.